We got a little bit of news on Cain Velasquez. He came out and did an interview and said, yes, I'm dipping my toe in wrestling and I'm all in and I'm doing best I can over here, but I am not done with MMA. And I thought that was helpful. I tend to take Cain at his word, but boy, off of memory without looking this up, I want to say he's fought one time in years. I mean, before he came back against Ngannou, there was a meaningful period of time where I thought maybe Cain had left the sport. Just one of those guys that like had quietly left the sport. And then he was even in some business in Arizona where he had used to live. He went to college out there. He was like buying houses or flipping houses. He was doing something. It just kind of looked like he had moved on. Then he comes back. He takes on Ngannou. We get armed with a little bit of information that no, not only was he not gone, he was in like a little bit long, quiet contract dispute that finally got worked out. How much of that's accurate? I don't know. It's very hard to get an audience with Cain. He's one of these guys. He's very quiet. Doesn't say a whole lot. But when he comes back against Ngannou, see, I guess here's what I'm trying to say about Cain. You put Cain Velasquez in the heavyweight division, you got a top guy right out of the gate. I think you guys would agree with me. But if we were to look back at his record as of late, that's not an easy one. We don't have to even look at his, we don't even have to do that. We could just let perception be reality. I'm fine with that. Are you guys? Sure. That division's a whole mess right now. Oh, and by the way, one guy that Stipe has never faced is Cain. Generally, the current champion will have fought a former champion. Hadn't happened. So it's a good fresh body. It's a new look. Somebody new. So Stipe doesn't have to go fight Daniel 3 times or fight Ngannou 2 times or fight Dos Anjos for the 100th time. It's new blood. It makes some sense. Probably something where Stipe will go, great, give me somebody new. Okay. That would be a little bit hard to do when he's been out for such a meaningful period of time. The one time he came in, he had the Ngannou debacle. And how much do you want to do with a guy who you don't know what his shelf life is or if he even wants to do this? Now, that's okay. All that I've proven in that is maybe he doesn't go in for the title. So, a dream fight for me. I'm speaking for me. I've always wanted to see Stipe and Cain. That's just a fight that I've always wanted to see. And as each day and week and month and fight gets signed and time goes by, it's looking like I'm never going to get that. So I'm really trying to achieve right now for myself a path that Cain could go through that's reasonable, that could get him in there with Stipe. That's what I'm trying to do. And it's a little bit tough based on that last fight with Ngannou that took years to even get to, lasted a matter of seconds, and then he exited and put on the tights and the mask and went and did the wrestling thing. So there is a place for him. There is a seat at the table. That is a mega draw of an extremely respected, tough guy. But if he's going to come back and do it, I do believe he's one of these guys that would need to ask one question of himself and have an answer to it, which is why. Why am I doing this? Am I doing this on a road and a pursuit to a championship? Or am I doing this to come back and do a send-off and say goodbye to everybody on my terms, take my gloves off, lay them down, and exit that? Am I doing this as a cash grab? None of those answers are actually bad answers. I just think when you're dealing with a guy like Cain, who is so incredibly success-driven, that he's probably going to at least need to see a roadmap that could get him back to a championship. And if he were to come back, the first thing we would need to know is when. Are we looking at 2020? Are we looking at the end of 2020? Because if we're doing that, old Chael will stop playing this game right now. Old Chael will not even lay out a roadmap of what it would take to reasonably expect that he would be in there with Stipe, fighting for a world championship. In addition, if Stipe and Daniel are going to run it back, as I think we all believe they are, it also puts Cain in kind of a tough spot since he has openly said, I will never fight Daniel, and Daniel has said the same thing about him. Is he coming back and training because he thinks Daniel's going to lose? That wouldn't be great for motivation. If he thinks Daniel's going to win and therefore he can never fight for the championship or attempt to reclaim, that's not great. Or Daniel's going to retire and step away, and then I'm just saying there's a lot of moving parts right now. I want to see Cain come back. I fear that for my dream, one of my super fights, if I could just make one, which is Cain versus Stipe, I fear that I'm not ever going to get that. I just don't see a scenario in a time frame where those two would cross paths. Stipe as the champion of the world, or if Stipe ran into a hiccup and now he's a new contender. I just don't see a scenario where that match is likely, which is disappointing only really for one person, me.